So we have the density of water is minimum at 4 degrees Celsius. Then we have discussed about the Hobbes apparatus. We have seen that exactly understand whatever I taught yesterday to you, that this is the freezing mixture which is kept, right, and there are two thermometer T1 and T2. Now due to this freezing mixture, the water which is inside the cylinder which is near to this freezing mixture will start cooling. So once it starts cooling, in the beginning or both the temperatures are the room temperature, and then when it starts cooling it will contract, so the volume will become less, that's why the density will become more. So that density becomes more, that water will come down, so it will come at the bottom. So what you will observe, you will observe that there is decrease in the temperature, fall in the temperature is observed, right? T1 पे, so there is a rapid flow, you can say drop down, you can observe here, see this T1 temperature from 12 degrees start cooling and it goes on, the temperature goes on decreasing from 8, see the temperature 8, here is the temperature 4, it falls till 4 degrees rapidly, whereas the temperature in T2 it also falls, but it falls slowly, so that is indicated by this graph, slowly followed. Thereafter children, here you observe after the temperature reaches to 4 degrees Celsius, then the behavior of water changes. Instead of contracting, it will start expanding. So what will happen as it starts expanding? The density will become less because volume is increasing. So where that water will go? That water will go in the upper direction, and soon you will see that there is a decrease. So there the temperature, once it reaches to 4 degree, the other thermometer also will come to 4 degree. Till that it will show 4 degree only. T1 will show 4 degree only. Okay, so now T2 has reached to 4 degree. Then if you still go, due to the freezing mixture, cooling still take place. So the now the entire volume, the entire water inside the cylinder is of 4 degrees Celsius. Still, if you cool it, now instead of contracting, it will expand. So the density will become less and it will form, it will come in the upper part, and you will observe that ice is formed in the upper part. So what you will see here, the temperature shows 0 degrees because ice is formed now, but if you will observe below the temperature T1, it is still showing you 4 degrees Celsius, right? And till that all water will become into ice, slowly the bottom, the water which is at the bottom will get converted into ice slowly. So thereafter it will reach to 0 degree later on. So that is shown by this graph. See the temperature falls rapidly of T1 and then slowly to 0 degree. It takes around 45 minutes to come to 0 degree. Whereas if you see T2, the upper wala thermometer, that one you will show that slowly the temperature comes to 4. But once it reaches to 4 quickly, within say 32 minutes, it is reaching to 0 degree. At 30 degree, it was at 4, and at 32 degree, it is at 0 degree Celsius. So, is this graph clear? In the exam, they may ask you to explain the graph. Okay, so that explanation is given to you today. We'll go ahead now with the new topic today, which talks about the dew point and humidity. Now, as you all know, children, about 75% of the earth is covered by water. And due to the continuous evaporation of water, water vapor is always present in the atmosphere When we have learned about the constituents of air, what we have learned? 78% of nitrogen, 20% of oxygen, right? And you have that something 1% of other gases and carbon dioxide and water vapor, isn't it? So always, children, the air contains water vapor into it. Children, it is a property of air to hold the water, okay? So the amount of water vapor in the atmosphere tells us that how is the weather today, whether it is a sunny day or it is a cloudy day or it is a rainy day. The water vapor in the air make it moist, and the moisture in the atmosphere is called as the humidity. How much that water is held by the air, I can say that way, is called as the humidity. Now, to understand about the dew point, children, let us understand about the air and unsaturated and saturated air. Children, remember one thing, that air has got a capacity to hold the water. It absorbs the water. Okay. Now, I'll just explain you with the example. Let us have one cotton which is wet. Okay, here I am having wet cotton. I wanted to dry it. So what I will do it, I will just keep it where in my room where the fan is on. You can, instead of cotton, you can just take a wet cloth also. In a rainy season now, your mama must be also drying up the all the clothes below fan, isn't it? So what exactly that fan does, due to the fan, the rotation of air, circulation of the air takes place, right? So whatever wet things are there, when you keep it below the fan, what happens is you get the dry cotton. So where that water has gone, which was there, that water is absorbed by the air. So right. So it is a simple thing which I wanted to do, that air absorbs water vapor or air absorbs water. Now, children, as you all eat the food, but there is a capacity. If you like the cake the most and it's your birthday, then if your mama brings the cake, okay, the maximum you can have half kg of cake. But if somebody asks you, I brought 5 kgs of cake for you and you have to eat today only because it's your birthday, you will say that I don't have capacity to eat 5 kg of cake even though I like it. So such thing is there for the air also. Children, we say the air categorized into two parts. We say that unsaturated air and saturated air. Let us understand these two terms which will help you us me to make you understand about the dew point. Now air has got the capacity to absorb the water. So till the air is absorbing the water, you can say that it is unsaturated. Again, I'll explain that. Take one more example. Unsaturated air can absorb the water vapor, and saturated air is the air which can't absorb the water vapor. Now let us have something which make you understand, children. The saturated air is not having any more capacity to air, though to absorb the water vapor. I can explain you with the help of one example here. Say there is one container, okay, in which I can have the 100 ml of water. I can fill up at the 100 ml of water. Okay, so I can say the capacity of this container is 100 ml. And if I have 75 ml of oil with me, can I pour in this? Yes, I can pour in it because the capacity is of 100. So I can easily, it can easily hold 75 ml, correct? But so that is like the air also. The air which has got a capacity to hold that water vapor is unsaturated one. Now suppose I am having now 120 ml of water, okay, 120 ml, and I am having the same container here. So the capacity of this container is just 100. It can't hold 120. Correct? So what will happen? It will spill out. The water will spill out if I'll pour in that container, isn't it? So children, now try to understand. Here, my unsaturated air is the air which can absorb the water. Means it's like a container which can hold that particular water, but it has got a capacity. उतना ही हो सकता है. But if you go on adding water vapor to it or go on adding, a stage will come when the air is not able to hold the water in it. Then we call that air as a saturated air. So still if water vapor comes, then it will get converted into water droplets. Is it clear? So when the air contains maximum possible water vapor, it is said to be saturated vapor at that time. Now children, one experiment which you can do at home also, you take one glass, you fill it half with water, you add salt into it, say 1 spoon of salt, stir it. Okay, with the help of stirrer, you stir it. The salt will get melt. Again you add one more scoop of salt. It will also get dissolved. You get still more, add one more spoon of salt. You again stir it. What will you will see that the now the salt is not getting dissolved. Array previously the salt was getting dissolved, but now it is not getting dissolved. It means now this water is not having capacity to hold the salt anymore. Okay, so that is also called as the saturated solution of salt. So in a similar manner, आप ये कर सकते हो घर पे. Yes, yes, yes. You have this in ninth standard, correct? You are able to recall. Good. That is called brine. Correct. So we have here salt which is not, but still if you boil the water na, then what will happen, the salt which was not dissolved now it will get dissolved. So what does it indicates, if you increase the temperature, okay, then the water holding capacity or the salt holding capacity of this liquid will increase. Same thing happens is with the air also. Children, at higher temperature, the water holding capacity of water increases. Okay, so at lower temperature, the water holding capacity decreases. You must have seen the dew drops during the winter season, in the winter nights, right? Day temperature is more, so water holding capacity of air was more, so the water was evaporated. But what happened in the night? There is a fall in the temperature, right? What the temperature decreases in the night, and hence what happens is the water holding capacity of air decreases. तो जो एक्स्ट्रा जितना भी था वाटर वेपर, it will get converted into dew drops, and hence we get the dew drops in the early morning in the winter season. Got it? So is this point clear to you? So why we get the dew drops? And remember one thing, I can make the changes. I can convert the unsaturated air to the saturated air, and I can convert this vice versa also. Means if I am having unsaturated air, suppose temperature presently is 20 degrees Celsius and I this air which is there in my box is unsaturated. Okay, let us have this. In this is a fish tank which I have took, and in that some of course air is there, and that air contains the water vapor, right? So I can make the temperature less than 20 degree. Say I cool the entire this aquarium box, I keep it in the fridge compartment. So temperature in the of the container will go down 20 degrees, say maybe 2 to 5 degrees. So what will happen? The inside air which was there, their air water holding capacity will go on decreasing, and when stage will come, then it will not be able to hold the water vapor. So what will happen? The water vapor present in this container will get converted into water droplets. Followed? Another simple experiment also you can do, children. You take one container, or you can take this aquarium box as it is given here, and keep inside calcium chloride which has got the water absorbing calories. You just weigh it. This is the weighing scale. You weigh it. Say you have taken 100 grams of CaCl2 and you just keep inside. Followed? And then after say half an hour, again you weigh it. The same thing. You will see there is increase in the weight of the CaCl2. Now why this increase is observed? Because it has got the property of absorbing the water. So whatever moisture is there is got absorbed by this CaCl2. So it contains the water vapor parts in it. So automatically its weight will increase. So this is all the simple way which we can explain about the water holding capacity and all. So now let us understand about the dew point. Yes, yes. Humidity, it's a physical quantity which need to be measured. So we have the two ways. One is the absolute humidity and another is relative humidity. Now to understand that, let us understand with an example. Let us have one we box we are taken which is 4 meter long, broad, and which is having the height also 4. So it is cube of having 4 meters. So you have the volume as, sorry, it is 4 meter cube volume, it is all together. Okay, that much container suppose we had taken. So what is the absolute humidity? The amount of water vapor present in a unit volume. Okay, so here say we are taken 4 kg per meter cube, 1 unit na. So 4 kg in 1 meter cube of air is there, then the absolute humidity of that is 4 kg per meter cube. Next, so what is, now every time we cannot just take unit volume, whatever air is there, whatever you have taken the container, whatever room you have taken into consideration. So how the formula will look like? The absolute humidity is the amount of water vapor divided by the volume of the air. जो भी आप whatever container you are taking, it can be a room, it can be a small vessel, or it can be a huge building, whatever you are assumed. Okay, so you have here the absolute humidity is the amount of water vapor present in a given container divided by the volume of the container. So it is kg per meter cube SI unit. Okay. Now let us come to the next part, which is called as the relative humidity. The ratio of, I'll repeat, it's a ratio. The ratio of mass of water vapor to the mass of water vapor needed to make it saturated is called as it's a relative humidity. In short, I have written as RH. I repeat, it's the ratio of actual mass of water vapor contained in the air for a given volume and temperature to that required to make the air saturated with vapor at the temperature, at whatever temperature you have taken into consideration, that only is called as relative humidity. Okay, so suppose here we have taken 25 kg of water vapor are present. So what will be the relative humidity? The total mass you are taken is 16. See यहाँ पे हम लोग ने 16 kg लेता है. But what is the capacity? Capacity is to hold 25, isn't it? I'll repeat. This is a container, and in this container it has got a capacity of 25 kg, but you have filled it only 16 kg into it. So 16 upon 25. See the ratio that is taken. The ratio of mass of water vapor to the mass of water vapor needed to make it saturated, right? And multiply by 100, because you have to find out the percentage of it. So when you do it, 25 fours are 100, 16 fours are 64. So 64%, it's its relative humidity. Clear? So this is how we calculate the relative humidity. Now children, if relative humidity at the dew point will be 100%, na 25 hai kg capacity and you are having 25 kg only, so it will give you 100%. If you have the relative humidity more than 60%, then you will find your limit. So for example, now this boy, presently it has got the relative humidity 40%. तो उसको लगता है okay, it's a sunny day, let us go and play cricket. Okay, now the day change, next day the humidity is 65%. He is sweating, see, he is sweating. Okay, so that is how what you feel when it is more than 60%, you will start feeling little humid. And if it is 80%, if it is 80%, then he will feel okay, it's a cloudy day, it might rain. And if it is 100%, he has to open the umbrella and he has to sit along with them because it is already started raining. Right? Now, the last part, which talks about the during the winter season, you must have observed the white trail at the back of the flying plane in the clear sky. As the plane flies, the water vapor released by the aeroplane condenses and it forms the cloud. So you can see here the formation of cloud due to the condensation. And if the surrounding air is having more relative humidity, it takes a long time for the white trail formed by the condensation of the vapor to disappear. But if the relative humidity of the surrounding air is less, then either the size of the trail may be small or it may not be visible also. Okay, so this is what is happening. Children, I think the time is up. We'll stop here You can see do little experiment which is given in the try this part at page number 67. We'll discuss about the unit of heat and the specific heat next time. If you have any